So in this video, I'm planning on going through some SAT Wordbank questions, hoping to do around 20, 30, and let's go straight right into it. So for this question, we are looking to rearrange the formula and try to compare the two. And we know that there are infinitely many solutions, so they're exactly the same solution. They're exactly the same equation. So if we simplify 12x plus 28 over 4, that would be 3x plus 7. And then minus s over 13 equals rx minus 8r because you distribute. Now we can already tell here 3x rx. R is going to be equal to 3. So we can already plug in for r, and we would get 3x minus 24r. Oh wait, sorry, 24. And now the only thing is we have to find s here. So we know this part of the equation is equal to this part of the equation because they're both a constant. So if we set those equal to each other, it would be 7 minus s over 13 equals negative 24. Now let's add this to the other side, and let's add 24. So we would have 31 equals s over 13. And now to isolate the s, we would multiply by 13 on both sides. So it would be 31 times 13, which is s equals 403. Hector used a tool called an auger to remove corn from a storage bin at a constant rate. The bin contained okay, so the initial value was 24,000 bushels of corn at time equals 0 because no time passed. And now after 5 hours, so time equals 5, there are 19,350. The auger continues to remove corn at this rate. What is the number of hours Hector will have been using it when? Okay, so at time equals question, there are 12,840. That's what our setup is looking like. So this is a negative slope question. This is going to be, so if we set this up, it would be y2 as 19,350, y1 24,000, and then we do x2 5 minus x1 0. So when we do this, we get negative 4650 over 5, and this simplifies to negative 930, and that's our slope. This equals m. Now, if it's given us, we can do a equation for this. So y equals mx, where m is negative 930 plus b. However, we have a point. So t is 0, 2400 is y. So if t is 0, that would be t is the x in this situation. So y equals b when time is 0. So at time 0, y value is 24,000. So our b in this situation is 24,000. So our new equation, let me just erase this. Our new equation would be y equals negative 930x plus 24,000. And now we're looking for when y eventually reaches 12,840. What is that x value? What is the time value? So we just plug in 12,840 equals negative 930x plus 24,000. Now if we do 12,840 minus 24,000, it would be negative 11,160 equals negative 930. Now we divide both sides by negative 930, and that means x will be 12. So at time 12 hours, that is when the amount of corn remaining is 12,840. So that's the answer to that question. Okay, this is simple algebra. If 5p plus 180 equals 250, subtract both sides by 180. This is really easy. 70p equals another easy question, simple algebra. 4x minus 5 both sides, it would be 160. 4x, x equals 40. John paid a total of 165 for a microscope by making a down payment of 37 plus p monthly payments of 16 each. Which of the following equations represents the situation? All right, so he's trying to pay off 165. That's the end goal. And he's doing payments of $16 a month. So our 16 is kind of acting like an X value because every X amount of months it's paying $16. So 16x. And then the down payment of 37 is like the constant. Like this can be looked at as y equals mx plus b. Constant is always just one payment. There's only one payment, so the down payment is the constant, but every month he's paying another every month. So that's 16. So answer for this question would be 16x, 16p, sorry. This should be a p. 16p plus 37 would be c. Okay, for this question, the equation has infinitely many solutions. This means they have to be exactly the same. So if 3x plus 21 equals 3x plus k, we see 3x is the same. Now our constants need to be the same. So k is literally just 21. That's all it is. Pretty easy. X is a solution to the equation above. What is the value of x plus minus 3? Now, when people, I can show you this two ways. There's an easy way to do this, a very fast way to do this, which is going to save you time. That's definitely what you need on the SAT. You don't want to waste too much time on easy questions. Or you could just do it the hard way if you want to be sure. So the hard way first, I would call this the hard way, is where you just solve for x. So distribute 6x minus 18 minus 11 equals 4x minus 12 plus 6. Now we simplify 6x minus 29 equals 4x minus 6. Both sides minus 4x. 2x equals 23. X equals 11.5 or 23 over 2. Now that's one way to do it. And then you subtract 3 because we're looking for x minus 3. But the faster way I would do this is, you notice here in this equation that it's 2x minus 6 minus 11 equals 4x minus 3 plus 6. What do you notice here? So when I look at this, I instantly realize this and this are factors. So let's separate this. 2x minus 6. We can factor out a 2 here, and this would be the same exact thing as writing 2 times x minus 3, which is the same right here. So if we rewrite this equation, it would be 3 times 2, because we pulled out a 2, times x minus 3 minus 11 equals 4x minus 3 plus 6. Now this is like a variable. This would be like if we had y for x minus 3. This would be like a variable. So if it would be 6 times x minus 3 minus 11 equals 4x minus 3 plus 6. So we can kind of use this as a variable and subtract these whole things together. We could subtract this and this because they're like terms. So if we do 6 x minus 3 and subtract it from 4, we can solve it literally just like that. So by doing that, we would get 2x minus 3, and then we could add 11 on both sides. That would be 6 plus 11, 17. Now we have 2x minus 3 equals 17. We could divide both sides by 2 and get our answer just like that. So it'd be 17 over 2. That's the answer. Tree had a height of 6 when it was planted. The equation above can be used to find how many years and it took the tree to reach a height of 14. Which of the following is the best interpretation? Alright, so if the tree's initial height was 6, in this equation, 6 is the initial height. So that means after 2n, it grew 8. So 2n, and n represents how many years it took the tree. So that means it took 4 years for the tree to grow to that height. But it's asking for the interpretation of 2. So the 2 in this equation is the slope, and it represents growth. So in this situation, it would be the average number of feet that it grew per year. So B. If that doesn't make sense, try to think of it like this is the initial height, and it's only growing from that initial height because it went from 6 to 14. So the n represents time. This is time. This has to represent the change in growth. So this has to be how much it grew in that span of time, n. So 1 year it grows 2. We could even plug this in. Let's say f of 2, it would be 2 times 1 is 2 plus 6 equals 14. So that means after 2, okay, no, sorry, f of 1. So let's say f of 1, it would be after 2 years, after 1 year, it grew 8. It grew to 8, so it gained 2. So that's another way of understanding it. Another infinitely many solutions equation. This is same as all the time. It just has to be the same exact equation. So if 8x has to be 2x, a is 2. And if we plug in, we get 2x plus 16, which is the same thing on the left side. So a is 2. If x divided by 8 equals 5, what is the value of 8 over x? So you can do a trick with this. This would be way quicker. Think about 5 as 5 over 1, because 5 divided by 1 is just 5. Now it's asking for 8 over x. We can use this property where you literally just flip both sides. When you do something on one side, you have to do on the other. If we flip this, that's all we need to do. So 8 over x is equal to 1 over 5, because we could just flip both. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, you could do x over 8 equals 5, solve for x. We would do multiply both sides by 8, and then we get x equals 40. And then if we're looking for 8 over x, we would be doing 8 divided by 40. That simplifies to 1 over 5. But this would just be a way quicker way to do it. And you want to save time on this test, so that's what I would do. Perimeter of an isosceles triangle is 83. Okay. So isosceles triangles have 2 equal lengths. So that means this and this has to be the same. Each of the 2 congruent sides of the triangle has a length of 24. So that means this is 24, this is 24, this is x. 24 plus 24 plus x has to equal 83, because that's the perimeter. 48 plus x equals 83. X has to equal 35. In the given equation, b is a constant. If the equation has no solution, what is the value of b? Alright, so no solution means it has to be same slope, but has to be different y-intercept. So if the right side is a constant, then the left side has to be a constant. The only way you can make this a constant, b minus 2 over x, if you think about it, if b is 0, it would be negative 2 over x. That's going to be a slope. That's going to be a linear line. It would definitely go through x. It would definitely go through the line of 8 because the line of 8 is a horizontal line. A linear line is always going to reach it. So we have to somehow make this a constant number. Well, if you think about it, b minus 2, 2 minus 2 is 0. And if that's 0, then it would be 0x. And anything times x, anything times 0 is 0. So it would be 0 minus 8, which is not true. Then there's no solution to this equation. So the only way to make this happen is if b is 2. How many solutions does the equation have? All we have to do is distribute this. We would get 150x minus 90. Sorry, that's a bad 0. Equals 60, 30, negative 90 plus 150x. If you notice this is the same exact thing but rearranged. So that means there's infinitely many solutions. The equation above, what's the value of x? This is very easy. It's basic algebra. Multiply both sides by 5, 4x equals 100. Divide by 4, x equals 25. Given equation, k is a constant, the equation has no solution. Alright, in no solutions, slope has to be the same, and y-intercept cannot be the same. So that means if we distribute this, we get 3kx plus 39 equals 48, 17x plus 36. We don't have to pay attention to this constant. They're already different. So let's do 3kx equals 48 over 17. The x's would cancel out. We're left with 3k equals 48 over 17. If we divide both sides by 3, that's the same thing as multiplying by 1/3. So multiply both sides by 1/3. K equals 48 over 51. It's simplified to, I believe, 16 over 17. That's the answer. So k would be 16 over 17. Which of the following is equal to 4x plus 16? All we have to do in this situation, divide everything by 2. Because that's what it looks like. It looks like a simplified answer in the answers. So if we divide both sides by 2, we get 2x plus 3 equals 6. That is choice D. 1 pound of grapes costs $2. At this rate, how many dollars will C pounds of grapes cost? Okay, so if 1 pound of grapes costs $2, 1 times 2. So this is just a slope. This is like a rate. So for every 1 pound of grapes, we're paying $2. This would be the same thing as saying 2x. For every $2, x. For every x amount of grapes we buy, x amount of pounds of grapes we buy, $2 per. So this would be the same thing as 2c. And we could check this. If we just plug in 1, we get 2. 1 times 2 is 2. So at 1 pounds of grapes, we're spending $2, which is the given they give us. This is a really simple question. Principal used 25 flags that were either blue or yellow for a field day. The principal used 20 blue flags. How many yellow flags were used? Okay, so if there's 25 flags that are blue or yellow, and he already used 20 flags, there's only 5 remaining. Those 5 remaining, they had to be yellow because he used 20 blue. That's all it is. This is a very baby question. What is the value of x in the given solution? Divide both sides by 8, x equals 11. 3 more than 8 times a number is equal to 83. Okay, let's think about this. 3 more, so 3 plus 8 times a number, so 8 times x number equals 83. We look at all the answers, there's only one that fits this, and that would be D. In the equation above, a and b are constants. If the equation has infinitely many solutions, what are the values of a and b? Infinitely many solutions, once again, they have to be the same exact equation. So if we distribute, we get 3a minus ax minus b equals negative 1 minus 2x. Okay. If we compare negative ax, because that's the one with the x variable, equals negative 2x, a has to be 2. So we already know a is 2. Let's plug in back into the equation. 6 minus 2x minus b equals negative 1, negative 2x. Negative 2x cancels out. We're left with 6 minus b equals negative 1. We can add b to the other side, add 1 to the other side. B equals 7. So 2 is a, b is 7. Which equation has the same solution as the given equation? Alright, this is just solving for x. Subtract both sides by 6. 4x equals 12. And the answer is C. In the given equation, k and n are constants, and n is greater than 1. The equation has no solution. What is the value of k? Alright, so no solution, same slope, different y-intercept. So if we distribute 2kx minus 2n equals negative 28, 15x minus 36, 19. So if n is greater than 1, that means say n was 1, this would be 2. This would already be greater than this. So we could disregard the y-intercept. 2kx equals negative 28 over 15x. Cancel out the x's. 2k equals negative 28 over 15. If we divide both sides by 2 or multiply by 1/2, cancel out the other side, it would be k equals negative 28 over 30. And I believe that is 14 over 15. So negative 14 over 15 is the final answer. Agricultural scientists studying the growth of plants, blah, blah, blah. Next to 12 days, found the plant increased by an average of 1.2 centimeters per day. So 1.2, think of that instantly as slope. The height of the plant on the last day was 36.8 centimeters. The plant grew for 12 days and it was 36.8. So we're solving for the b. We have y, we have m, we have x. This is what we're solving for. At time equals 12 or at x equals 12, y equals 36.8. And we have the slope right here. So if we just plug into y equals mx plus b, 36.8 equals 1.2 12 plus b. So now if we solve for this, it would be 36.8 equals 14.4 plus b. So now b equals 22.4. Alright, I think I'm gonna call it there. I'm definitely gonna do more videos on this, do more SAT, ACT, maybe some AP Calc work. If there's anything you think I should improve on, let me know. And thank you for watching and paying attention. I hope these help out some people, even like 5 people, that'd be great. So thank you.